Hey, welcome back to another tutorial of Python, and in this tutorial we are going to learn about strings. And I hope that you have already opened up your command prompt, which means terminal, into your Windows, Linux or Mac machine, and we are going to type Python and click enter. It should take you to your Python interpreter. And right now what we are going to do is we are going to write down a string. Which is what is a string? Strings are a combination of letters, numerics or symbols, literally. And to type down string, we are going to, in Python you have to do something to say something is string. So to combine this all, you have to put single quote and say hello world, which are combination of letters, and you're saying by this single quote that this is a string, and if you click enter it should give you the same thing as this. Also, you can actually declare a string into your Python by double quote, which means double quote, and inside there you can say hello world and click enter. It should give you the string again with the single quote. So you can declare your string in two way, but always do this one, because you never know, this is a standard. If you don't have a choice with this single quote, then go for the double quote. Okay, so when we are doing something like hello world, there are nothing complication, right? But you can face something like this: I don't do this, where you are having a single quote and another single quote with this don't word and another single quote here. But do you know what? Our interpreter is taking this as the opening single quote and this is the end single quote. But what about the rest? And if you go click enter, it should give us an error as expected. So this is an error. We are doing it knowingly or unknowingly, but we need to avoid this. To avoid this, or to say that, skip this single quote as the end quote of this string. To do this, we are going to put a slash here, and we are going to go back and click enter. Right now it should give us the correct value and it should print out the result. So right now if you see here is that it's showing us the single quote inside a double quoted string value. Inside a single quote there can't be any single quote. There can be double quote but no single quote. For example, this is a single quote. You can't have something like this again inside this, but you can have something like this. Okay, also inside the double quote, inside a double quote you can have something like this. This will print you an error. I better show you as something like this. He says we are innocents, and if we click enter now it is giving us an error. But we can actually simply ignore this by doing the same methodology by saying slash backslash and giving a black slash, and the Python will take this now as a numeric or a literal and ignore this and take this as the end tag. And if we click enter we can see that it's now printed out. So we learned about variable into the last tutorial. You can actually assign a string value inside a variable. So I'm gonna say name equals, so I'm gonna take my name which is Ohit, and you can actually give the space or it's up to you. And I should put the single quote. I always say put the single quote unless you are in need of the double quote. So I'm gonna click enter, and it has, so the name variable has been assigned with a value of Ohit. string. So I'm gonna say name, and it should print out the value here. Okay, we are doing something here, but we can do some other thing to print out the value. What is it? We can say print, and you're gonna say name. So we are calling a function here which is print. Don't worry about what is function, we are gonna learn it later on, but just know it that print is a function which helps us to print out any variables value or any string or any numeric value. So I'm gonna print out here, and I'm gonna click, and it is literally printing out the string value. But look at this here, focus on this, there are no single quote anymore, because the print function is telling this variable to ignore all the single quote and double quote. And let's print something like, okay, let's take a value like name and say hello world. Oh, okay, not this, I don't do this. And enter and say print. Okay, that's a bad example, but I think it will work. And if you click enter now, the double quote has gone. Okay, right now we are going to do some more thing here. We are gonna work on new line. We want to say as equals, we are gonna take another variable and say line 1, and we are gonna say backslash and line 2. So this backslash and actually helps us to divide a single string into 2 lines. And if we assign it, and if we print it out without the print function, first without the print function, and we will see something here happening. So it is literally actually print out the entire line with this slash n. But you know, slash n is meant to be here to divide these 2 lines, divide this single line into a combination of 2 lines. So let's print this out with print function and click S, and you can see that line 1, line 2. So those 2 lines are divided right now. Okay, what are you going to do is we are going to do with the backslash now again. So for this we are gonna do something like print, and we are going to take single quote, and inside the single quote we are gonna say okay, do this, and we are gonna take a directory which is ohit backslash python, and if we click the enter now, see, it's literally printing out this thing. There one thing that can happen here. For example, if it is Python, I mean, I'm going back by clicking the upper key, and if we take like Niton, I just imagine that it's a Niton, and click here. See, it's dividing this entire line into two lines. Why it's happening? We need to ignore this to tell our interpreter that it's a single line. You don't divide this. We are going to do something like this. You go back with the line before and click and give an R before this, and it go and print this now. Now right now it's not saying n or slash n anymore. Before that it was slash n, which was responsible for dividing these 2 lines. Okay, here we can actually multiply a string. So to multiply a string we can do something like c, take a string of like ha and multiply with 3. If we click enter, it is saying ha ha ha. Also we can actually add Okay, we do something like this, ha, and we multiply with 4 times, and we are going to add another string which is called string concatenation, and we are gonna say ho ho ho. So we are gonna have 4 ha 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 and this ho 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 string added together, and you can see it here. Cool. You can actually concatenate multiple strings if they are into single quote or double quote or in homogeneous mode. For example, you can say ha, you can have in a space or not having in a space, it's up to you, but I'm gonna prefer the space, ha ha ha. And if I click enter now, it is giving us a combined or concatenated string. So if you take something like this and do something like this, like I'm taking 2 here and multiplying with this, let's see what happens. Yep. So it's first concatenating these 2 and multiplying this with 3. So 3 times 2, which is 6. Yep. And you can do something here as like, first we take a value like name equals oh he, and we're gonna say name, and we can't do something like this. We can't do it. But literally, if you see that he is a string, and if we put this here and with this, it should print out the value of ohit. But if you're doing like this here, look at this, it is giving us a value, because these two things are not homogeneous. This is a value, this is a string. But look at this, if I do something like this here, it is printing out a value, and this is ohit, my name. Okay, you can actually do something here to avoid this error, like name plus d, and it should concatenate the 2 value of this.